Welcome to the 109th video in our series about Unix tools. In this video, we'll look at a GitHub project that uses tags but has no official releases on GitHub. Okay, it's time to get started. You know I love VIM, so we're going to use VIM as our example. Here we are on the VIM website, www.vim.org. And if you wanted to download, most people would click on this green download link. And you can download some pre-packaged, ready-to-go stuff. But it says, Unix, see the GitHub page. Or Mercurial if you prefer that. And we do not prefer Mercurial. So click on the GitHub, and it says, well, this is how you get to it. Okay, go here. And so if we open up a tab and we cut and paste that, this is what you'll see. And you'll notice the URL looks a little different after they do some translation. But take a look at this. You see that it's the official VIM repository. It says so. And it shows that when you look at releases, there are over 17,000 tags, but there are no releases at all. And if you clicked on releases, expecting to find something, there aren't any releases here. But there are lots of tags. Okay, so wonderful. Let's come back here. This is what we had marked. That's what we need. And they tell you what to do. Git clone that thing. You know, if you were wanting to have the very latest VIM on your Unix system that has all the latest patches, which your distro provided VIM won't have. So we've done all that. We need to come down here and get to our putty and get out of this intro screen. We won't use Rusty. We'll use something else. Vimy. I'm going to say git clone. And that information, which we got from this web page. Now this, with 17,000 different tags, you know it's going to take a while. So you hit the button, and it says it's cloning into VIM, and you can see it's pulling in data. This network where I am now is pretty good. We're getting 3 meg per second, but it's dropping quickly because this is the BUU University network, which has some brutal traffic shaping. You know, the first few megabytes are quick, but then it really ramps the speed down. And after that, it varies all over the place. But you see, it's going to take a while, and we're receiving the objects. And then once that's done, it's going to pull head. And head will be the one that we've got. Okay, it's resolving the deltas now. There we go. It's all done now. And if you want to see what we've got this. You need to go into the VIM directory, and you might want to know how much disk space is being used. There's 232 megabytes of stuff. How much of that is the repo? 152 megs of that is the repo, the repository. And then the rest of it is the actual VIM source code. So if you did a git log, you'd see we're on head, on the master, and they say it's been tagged. It's a little hard to see with these stupid colorized things, but we haven't tweaked our git config yet. And so you can go back to one of those other videos and learn how to tweak your git config to turn off colorizing if you want to. With only 10 minutes, I don't have time to do all that tweaking for this one. So we're going to stick with the defaults and suffer a little bit. But we're on 708. And if we go back to the website and we look and we say, okay, show me the tags, which we click on that blue link, 708 is the latest tag. It's the best there is. But let's say you want to query the tag information here. You can do git tag and you'll see, wow, it goes through less, and Shift G will show you that it goes up to 9.1.078. And if we went back to the beginning, you see the first one that's checked into Git version control is version 7. And of course, VIM existed before that, but they didn't check that historic code into GitHub because nobody should be running something that old. And they didn't used to use Git. They used some other version control system. Blah, blah, blah. Let's go back to git log. And you can see what they've done for each one of these. You know, recursive window update, include file type plugin, invalid cursor position may cause crash. And you're looking at all these, and you're looking at all these, and somehow your friend tells you, dude, the one you want is 91073. This is the one you want. And you learned this from your friend somewhere, and you want to get that one. And you can see, if you highlight, clearly this is set up for a dark background. But this is the tag 91073. And so we'd like to build that version from August 29. We don't want the latest. So how can we do that? Git checkout v 9.1.0703. It has to match exactly the tag shown here. Okay, if we do that, what's going to happen? It's going to work, and they warn you, hey, you know, you're in detached head state. We've seen that in another video. Don't panic. But this is telling us that head is now right here at 9.1.0703, and they give you the first line, that title line of the commit message, so you can double check this is where you want to be. Wonderful. I've achieved the goal of getting the source I want. Now, how would I build this source? I've done an LS, and you're looking and you're saying, I don't know, you never talked about this. There is a make file, but what you'll notice is there's a configure. And when you see a configure, normally you have to run that. But we could do a README, and you'll see they have two READMEs, which is rather confusing. So let's check the date and time. They're both the same. There's a README VIM 9. You know, what do I need to do? Well, come back here and see what they said. They said git clone that thing, cd, git pull, cd, VIM, and they talk about all this stuff you can do, building. Okay, cd into the source, make disk clean, make, there it is. That's what they say to do. And will that work? I don't know, right? cd source, make disk clean. No, it doesn't work. So the instructions on the website don't work. This is normal in the open source world. You don't pay any money for it, so there are no people paid to keep the documentation up to date. So what happens is the code is good, but the instructions are usually awful. Let's try a configure and ask for some help. We have to do a /configure because we want to run this configure in this directory, not some configure that's on the path. When we do that, wow, we got miles of stuff. But you can see it's fairly standard. How do I know that? From experience. So let me give you some hints. Okay, the first thing to do is say configure prefix equal let's say user local, and if we did that, what would happen? It's doing all kind of checking because this source code works on many different kinds of systems. We've done it. Now let's do the build. We're going to do a make. We're going to say do it parallel, and how many cores? Well, we don't know. ls CPU head, and you can see that this virtual machine has 8 cores. So okay, make -j -L8, and we hit the button, and it's normal to get all these warnings because GCC is very picky. And you can see they're trying to build stuff for GTK, which is a GUI environment. We haven't done a good job on our configuration to say, hey, I only want text mode. I don't need graphics. But when we get it all done, we got lucky. It says linked fine, and it seems to be okay. And so you might wonder, well, where is it? Where did they put this thing? Use ls-lartd, which should put the newest file last. And it got dot. There we go. We're in the source. Let's go into the source directory. Try it again. There is a VIM. If we do a file on VIM, it says it's an executable. Let's run it. Ooh. It's not happy because we said everything was going to be in user local and we haven't done an install. But it still managed to come up after some warnings and show, yes, that's the version we got. How do we install this thing? Because we picked user local, you'd have to have sysadmin power to install it. So, bummer, dude. We can't do that. We need to install this thing in our home directory somehow. And come back for the next video and I'll show you how. But we're out of time in this video. At least we proved we can get the source code from GitHub. We can select the particular tag we want, and we can build it for that tag. We didn't build it well, and we can't install it yet. Come back for the next video to learn how to do those things. Thank you for listening.